Hi, welcome back. I'm Dr. Johnson, and it's great to be with you again in yet another installment on our journey through virtue. And this is session number 9, and it's entitled Virtue Heals. I believe that healing starts with virtue. And specifically, I think the virtue that comes to mind is the virtue of trust. I'll tell you why. Because trusting that there is truly a universal and overarching power, which we call God, that has created and continues to form us and everything in the grand universe, and that includes me, is from virtue. We need trust that is creative. It's a creative power. We need to trust that this creative power is benevolent. That is, it has good things for us. And we need to trust that this power deeply loves me and wants the very best for me. So, what does this boil down to? Well, I guess you could say that virtue is life, and all virtue flows from love, and God is love. So, virtues are your healing and learning tools for life. That's a big statement, I know, but how about this? How do we learn to love? Well, here's a paradox. We can learn to love, and maybe we learn best to love, and perhaps the best way to learn how to love, paradoxically, might be through brokenness. I know that sounds strange, but the other day I was talking with our eldest son, who happens to be struggling with a very rare kind of cancer, and he said something that stopped me in my tracks. He said, "You know, Dad, it's really in our trials where we find our greatest triumphs." I thought, well, gee, that's something, isn't it? So how could I respond except by saying, I think that's quite true. I think that's right. And what power can move us through and beyond all the trials that life has to bring us? Well, we're talking about virtue, so that's probably the answer, and it is. As we practice virtue and are learning love, we also learn healing, and that's what this session is about. So virtue is what? Light and strength, it's power and tenderness, it's compassion and beauty, it's reverence and justice, it's patience and fortitude, it's justice and forbearance. It's all these things. And really you could say that anything that is good is in fact from virtue. And what is good always heals. What is not from goodness always hurts us. So when you're physically sick, when you have the flu or heart disease, whether you have a cold or you have Parkinson's disease, whether you have a hangnail or arthritis, whether you have pink eye or colon cancer, whether you have poison ivy or psoriasis, acne or ALS, in any of these conditions of physical sickness, would you rather have hope or despair? Would you rather have mercy or indifference? Would you rather have acceptance or dissension? God reliance or doubt? And what about if you're sick mentally or emotionally? When you're either sick with disappointment or depression, with stress or anxiety, with irritability or even obsessive compulsive disorder, with mental confusion or PTSD? Would you rather have vision or blindedness? Would you rather have humor or lamentation? Peace or contention, adaptability or rigidity, simplicity or complexity? And what about if you're sick, in a way, sick in quotes, relationally, either because of marital or relational pressures or discord, or maybe you're even facing divorce, with parental puzzlement, which I have been struck with, or with work-related entanglements, with alienations, or for social confinement. No matter what the relational issue might be, would you rather have joy on your side or dejection? Would you rather have trust or insecurity? Would you rather have empathy or obtuseness, gratitude or blaming? And what about if you're sick spiritually? Did you ever think you could be sick spiritually? There are spiritual diseases, So some of them might be called spiritual lifelessness or powerlessness, reclusive avoidance, or sometimes alienation. agitated cluelessness or confusion, existential implosion or infantilization. All of these can be seen as spiritual diseases. Would you rather have harmony or chaos in times like this? Would you rather have patience or impulsivity, strength or weakness? I'm sure you get the picture here of what's going on. Of course, we would all opt for the virtues and hold on to them, and not the shadows or the fears. We want to grab hold of God's tools of virtue every time and in every situation, of course. Yes, virtue offers us very much, and virtue does truly heal. All our beliefs that are rooted in virtue heal. All of our perceptions that are rooted in virtue heal. All of our thoughts that are rooted in virtue heal. All of our emotions that are rooted in virtue heal. All of our decisions and choices that are rooted in virtue heal. And all of our actions, all of our behaviors that are rooted in goodness and in virtue always heal us. So, what are we saying here? We're saying virtue is real, and what is not real is not of love. And that virtue is the first source and center, really, of all healing. And how then can we embrace virtue? Well, I happen to have an answer for that. I would say taking the spiritual strengths profile, which is at the bottom of the post that I put up this week. That may sound like a sales pitch. It really isn't. I mean that from the bottom of my heart, because I've seen this so often happen. Virtue heals. Do you want to be healed? Healing is a matter that we all need, all of us, all the time. Body, mind, and spirit. See you next week. We have another installment 10, or class on virtue. And it is the call to live a virtuous life. See you then.